Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. How you doing tonight, this evening? It is a little past 6 o'clock here, my time, Chicago time, Illinois time. How are you doing today, lovelies? How was your day? I hope you had a fabulous day. I hope it went wonderful. How was my day today? It went fine for the most part, just minding my own business, living my own life. I talked to Miss Essie Berry today. We discussed probably um, having a pajama jam on, having our pajama jam on Sunday. So we'll see. We'll see if we'll have that. But yes, people, I am back again. My second time today, but my second time on here now talking about this whole Bill Cosby situation. Part two, we're going to find out about him and this whole NBC thing because I know that I had heard that it was two times that Bill was trying to buy NBC, once in the past and once currently, not too long ago. But to be perfectly honest with you, people, I looked and I could not find a second time. Now, I'm not saying that that didn't happen, but I personally did not see any articles specifically saying that this particular year in 2000 something he had came back again. And now I did see articles that was written in 2014 and 2015 mentioning about Bill Cosby um, purchasing or talking about the purchasing of NBC. But when I read those articles, they were always, for the most part, referring back to this 1992 article that was written, if I'm not mistaken, by the New York Times. So this is the New York Times in 1992. And it says that Bill Cosby, NBC's biggest star of the 80s, is trying to buy the television network from its current owner, the General Electric Company. So this is what the article is saying in 1992 when he is discussing buying NBC. So that year, okay. Now, first of all, I was like, General Electric Company. Are they talking about GE? Are they talking about GE that was making the stoves and the refrigerators? Like, I don't know if they're still doing it and all of that type of stuff. Like, who knew? Who knew? But it says Norman Brokaw, the chief executive of the William Morris Agency and Mr. Cosby's personal agent for 30 years, confirmed yesterday, okay, and I think this article was written in October, if I'm not mistaken, confirmed October of 1992, confirmed yesterday that he had discussed Mr. Cosby's intention to make an offer for NBC with Robert C. Wright, the network's president. Mr. Brokaw said he flew into New York last week to meet with Mr. Wright. I told him Bill is definitely interested in buying NBC, and Mr. Wright eventually said that NBC is not for sale. For more than 2 years, NBC has been the subject of continuing rumors that it is for sale, especially since its ratings have gone down in a steep decline. Mr. Chase of the Manhattan firm of Patterson, Belknap, Webb, and Tyler said he had talked with investment houses about Mr. Cosby becoming what he called one of a number of principals in such a purchase. It's not likely that Bill will do the whole thing, nor will I consider it prudent that he tried to, Mr. Chase said. Mr. Brokaw said Mr. Cosby had held preliminary talks had held preliminary talks with a couple of individuals on being partners in an NBC takeover. But analysts said the asking price for NBC was likely to be about $4 billion. General Electric paid $6.5 billion when it acquired the network's parent company, the RCA Corporation, in 1986. General Electric has since sold off RCA's electronics division and acquired several other television properties, including the cable channel CNBC. Then it says, but Mr. Brokaw denied some news reports yesterday indicating that the deal was dead. This is a real story, he said. Bill authorized me to come to New York and meet with Bob Wright, the president of NBC. And Mr. Chase said, we understand they said NBC is not for sale. What you can draw from that, I'm not sure of. But in my mind, everything is for sale. It just depends on what the seller and buyer agree upon. And it has done, and as it has done in the past, NBC declined to comment on the possibility the network might be sold. But one senior NBC executive who spoke on conditions had said that Mr. Brokaw had exaggerated the seriousness of his discussions with Mr. Wright. Mr. Cosby's personal wealth has been estimated, and this is in 1992, at $300 million. The entertainer owns a substantial piece of The Cosby Show, his longtime comedy hit, which was produced by the Carsey Warner Company and ended an 8-year run on The Cosby Show. So local television stations were very strong. Did I put that right? Is that how that went? Yeah, that's how I got it. The show is approaching $1 billion in syndication, he said. Warm feelings about NBC. Mr. Brokaw characterized Mr. Cosby's interest in buying the network in personal terms. Bill has very warm feelings about NBC. He got his break there almost 30 years ago in I Spy. Then he had the most financially successful show of all time there in the 1980s. He said Mr. Cosby was interested in making quality television shows and that he would surround himself with good people to handle all the deals of running a network. Over the last 2 years, there have been several rumored suitors for NBC, most notably Paramount Communications Inc. and Barry Diller, the former chairman of Fox Inc. But neither Paramount nor Mr. Diller has ever confirmed that they have tried to buy the company. Still, the rumors seem to at least to have inspired Mr. Cosby. Bill kept reading about Barry Diller and Paramount, Mr. Brokaw said. He approached me a couple of weeks ago and said, we've been hearing about these different people buying NBC. I want you to tell NBC we're seriously interested. Okay. Now that is the one that I read from the New York Times. But then when I was doing my research, I seen another article and it mentioned something about 1993, but I could have sworn I seen that it was written in 2014, 15, something like that. Now, I had read a blogger's, I think it was a podcaster's blog or something when I was looking up articles and stuff when I was doing my research on this whole thing about this NBC. And this person had did a breakdown of why it could not have been possible for Bill Cosby to buy NBC, considering the fact that they were asking for what 6.5 did it say 6.5 something like that $billion, and they're saying that Bill Cosby's net worth, and this particular article said 300 million. Another one that I read, I think, said between 3 and 500 million at that time in 1992. Because they were saying that he didn't have enough money, and they were saying that he wasn't going to invest his own money in it. That wasn't his plan, was to invest his own money. But then I had came across this particular article where it just made me feel like that they was not taking Bill Cosby seriously, because they did not want him to purchase it. They were, I bet they were, would have had no problem with the Diller man and the Paramount and the Fox. But as far as Bill Cosby, no, they wasn't taking him seriously. But this particular article says it can't be done. He's not serious. maybe even this is a publicity stunt. This is what they were feeling about Bill Cosby and his inquiring about buying NBC. But while they publicly talk about him, a long line of M&A starved investment banking firms, including, now I'm probably not going to get all these names right, but bear with me, people, because I'm going to make sure you follow me on Facebook at Geneva's Closet, because I will be putting the links. Well, matter of fact, I'll be putting the links to these articles in the bio section so you can read it for yourself. You can read the full article because these are like full conversations that they were having at that time, things that were going on at that time. So I found it to be very interesting, but I'm not going to read it all because technically it could be like 15 pages when I was thinking about printing it out. So that's just too much, but you can read it yourself. A long line of M&A starved investment banking firms, including Bear Stearns, Salmon Brothers, Wertheim Schroeder, Merrill Lynch, and Goldman Sachs, as well as several European firms and even interested investors from South America and China, were casting about widely for an end with Cosby, his people at the William Morris Agency, or his New York law firm Patterson, Belknap, Webb, and Tyler. Still, the story faded. Still, let the record show that the story faded, even with all of these people wanting an end widely. It said widely wanting an end with Mr. Cosby. Still, the story faded. But Cosby kept on, despite Jay Leno jokes and the continuing skepticism of those who may have their own plans for NBC. Extremely acknowledgeable sources confide that America's favorite comedian has linked his campaign with an elite management group and has hired Goldman Sachs to find financing for a serious run at NBC. This man was dead serious. He don't care nothing about what they was talking about. He was serious. Behind the scenes, arrangements are proceeding for an offer in the $4 billion range. June 3rd was the original target date for the offer to GE Chairman Jack Welch, but the delay is no big deal, said one insider. Okay, what is this? It says the Cosby / Wussler Management Group has plotted a specific strategic plan designed to dramatically enhance profits right away, reestablish affiliate relations, and put the network back in the hands of TV professionals, explained one source. Brandon Tartikoff, okay, initially contacted last fall by Cosby, was formally asked to join the team by a Wall Street person during the second week of June, but the man declined both times. Cosby is, however, continuing his search for other members of a proposed to run NBC. He himself would continue to perform, but would also put his philosophical imprint on all programming. It says Cosby was originally willing to underwrite at least part of the deal personally. He now thinks he won't use his own money. That leaves Goldman Sachs, which has done deals for GE in the past. Its bankers know that Welch, anxious not to look back to shareholders for its original payment of $6.3 billion for the network and parent RCA, dreads a substantial write-down in the event of a sale. So they are suggesting, sources say, that the deal includes some of revenue stream to GE over several years. Then it says, Cosby's life story would not seem out of place in an inspirational volume. The product of a North Philadelphia housing project pitched in to help his mother, a cleaning lady, after his father abandoned the family. Over time, he became an actor with the highest TVQ rating for familiarity and likability in the history of the medium, and a huge successful businessman. who is annually around the top of the Forbes list of wealthiest entertainers. His personal fortune is estimated at between 300 and 500 million. He already owns the favorite toy of CEOs everywhere, a Gulfstream 4 jet with a pair of pilots. His investments includes a New York Coca-Cola bottler, considerable artwork, and real estate. In Manhattan, he and Camille, his wife of that time, 29 years, own two East Side townhouses near Amherst, Massachusetts. They own a 19th century townhome on 250 plus acres. There are also homes in Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Vegas, but Cosby hates being tagged as a big spender. He once became furious with a magazine reported a number of classic cars he owns, 22 then, close to 60 now, but he wears t-shirts featuring the luxurious Hotel du Cap in the south of France where he summers. Okay, people? It says Bill Cosby got his doctorate in 76. It says, what else do it say? We're in TV history. To Charlie's Angel and Aaron Spelling Love Boat was piling, but Cosby was already vowing to use the tube to address itself to educational values, to teaching, to subjects that have to do with morals. Okay, so this is what he wanted to do. He is still sending the same message, but now he has the cash and the clout to really raise the roof. Recently, in a little known move, Cosby pressed ABC television president Roger eager to renew the series Where I Live, a streetwise sitcom in which Cosby had no involvement on a network where he had no particular relationship, because he supported the show way of depicting African Americans. Cosby lobbying reportedly saved the show. I guess he had a little clout. You know, he was able to do some things and make some moves. Cosby's influence and experience could be valuable to NBC. In politics, friends like U.S. Commerce Secretary Ron Brown, New York City Mayor David Dickens, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson may at some point in the future be helpful in the battle to turn back the tide of government. What does that have to do with it? And as the pitchman for Jello, Kodak, and Once Upon a Time, E.F. Hudson, oh, the irony, Cosby also picked up some helpful experience on how to pry dollars out of advertisers, helpful to a network owner. It should be said here that Cosby's entertainment philosophies make for very advertiser-friendly programs. Okay, that's, you know, they gave him his props on that one. I like how that one was written for the most part. That one was written pretty good. Okay, now where else am I going with this? Okay, now it says in mid-June at that time, he was telling reporters, this is what Bill was telling reporters, I'm not commenting until the damn thing is finished. One thing is clear, Cosby's ambition is not financially motivated, but is fueled instead by specific creative, ideological, y'all know what I'm saying, and even spiritual beliefs, a far cry from the M&A raids of the 80s. I don't know what's going on with my words lately. I'm telling y'all, people, I'm not this bad with the words. I don't know if it has something to do with the camera. I don't know. I have the slightest idea, but just bear with me, people. Just bear with me. It says the show, Cosby wanted basically, those close to the stars say that Cosby is driven by what he sees as three specific sins: television, one-dimensional stereotyping of African Americans, okay? Violence as entertainment and TV programming, and NBC's cancellation of his Here and Now sitcom. So I looked up the Here and Now sitcom, and what did it say? Did it say 92 and 96? It said 92 and 96, but I guess this was supposed to be a spinoff show with Theo, you know, Malcolm Jamal Warner and something like that. But it says the show, minority positive and nonviolent, was a paragon of Cosby's virtue, and it seems to have viewed its cancellation as a sign that TV was on its way to becoming a Sodom and Gomorrah, which it is. Which it is. Can I say this, please? Can I say this right quick? Me and Chad did a search because I wanted him to check and see what was the shows on NBC, because I was like, well, I wonder if Bill Cosby would have been able to purchase NBC, they would have allowed it, because that's what it was. It's not that he wasn't able to purchase it, 'cause I'm pretty sure he could have found the investors, the money, he could have did the dang on thing. They was not going to allow that. But if they would have allowed him to purchase NBC, can you just imagine the type of programs that would be on NBC? Can you just imagine some good Black programs and things like that? So I wanted to look up NBC and see what was the current programs that were on there. What are they showing? And look, people, it was just like this: white, 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 white. It was all of that. I think it had. Did it have America's Next Best Talent, or that talent show or something like that? And I think that it had Marlon Wayne's show. So I think Marlon Wayne's has a show, and I think that show is on NBC. And we know Family Feud or something is on that. Steve Harvey's. I think Steve Harvey Family Feud is on NBC. But besides that, it was white, 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 white. So they don't even have any Black shows. So we see what they wanted to do with it. So he was about right. So when he seen his show being canceled, it made him feel a certain way. That it just means that TV was on its way to becoming a Sodom and Gomorrah. Observers say that he considers buying NBC not so much retaliation, but rather his opportunity to set it newly purified on the path of higher conviction. This particular activity has nothing to do with kingdoms or empires or money, Cosby's publicist David Brokow insisted during our conversations. It has to do with the responsibility of the public trust in the media. It's about the idea of putting some important values in front of the public. It has to do with the idea of presenting life as it really should be represented. And then, so I don't think I need to read anything else. So, so I don't think that y'all are waiting for me to say that he bought it and what day he purchased it on, because it never happened. But we see that he was definitely trying to buy it. And it had been rumors, where they said almost 2 years, that NBC was up for sale, was up for grabs, but for some reason for Bill, it was not up for grabs for Bill. Now, this is a report that I found on, what is this? AP News. And this is dated January 16th, 2015, people. And it says NBC. Now, I done read you all of this about NBC. Bill Cosby's love for NBC. At that time in 1992, he had been with NBC for 30 years, people. I spy. Come on now. He had bailed them out. He was there with them, helping it peak. Come on now. The Cosby Show. $1 billion in syndication. 1 billion. Okay. But now I'm reading you this. NBC firmly shuts doors on Cosby. The door is firmly shut to Bill Cosby's return to NBC. The network top entertainment executive said Friday. That's safe to say, NBC Entertainment Chairman Bob Greenblatt, whatever, said Friday when asked if the network would ever again do a project with Cosby, who 30 years ago was the sitcom king with the, 30 years ago, currently, because this was written. So that means so now I'm backtracking. So that means if this article says 30 years, the one I just read, then that means it was written in 2015. Didn't I say that I thought this article was written in 2015? So it was written in 2015, because now in this article, 2015 is speaking present term and it's saying 30 years ago. Cosby, who 30 years ago was the sitcom king with the network's The Cosby Show. NBC's decision to sever ties with the 77-year-old comedian comes in the wake of multiple allegations of sexual assault against him. two lawsuits and a complaint to Los Angeles police earlier this week from a woman who says the comedian sexually abused her in 2008. The series was announced in mid 2014 about a rising tide of accusations about Cosby and the women, and yeah, we already know about that. During a question and answer session with the Television's Critic Association, Greenblatt was asked to explain what tipped the network against working with Cosby, who was publicly fending off allegations from two women a decade ago. Cosby has not been charged in any of the alleged assaults at that time and has denied them. In 2005, he settled a civil suit filed by one woman that included claims of battery and assault. Okay. And then he says 15 women came out and accused him of what they accused him of, Greenblatt said. Although Cosby hasn't been proven guilty of anything, when that many women come out and have such similar complaints, it becomes a tainted situation, and the network didn't want to proceed with the sitcom. And what sitcoms was it? I thought I had the name of the sitcoms written down. What, are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Wait a minute. According to the fallout, Cosby has faced more career fallout, including Netflix's decision to indefinitely postpone a comedy special and the cancellation of concerts in his ongoing tour. Yep. So they said they didn't want to have nothing to do with him. But the interesting thing about this is that, so this is 2015. Bill Cosby had not even been charged yet. Women were just making allegations. But in 2014, we have Andrea Constand on her Twitter page talking about how she was coming forth and how she wasn't done yet, that the story needed to be put back out there. And she was also in 2014, even though the women started coming forth, if I'm not mistaken, in 2015, in 2014, she was already tweeting about some of the women. So they must have already been getting together talking, to be perfectly honest with you. But do you remember how this whole thing started? Do y'all remember really how this whole Bill Cosby thing got started? Because I know that's how it got started with me. And it says October 16th of 2014. Comedian October, so not in February, March. We're talking about at the end of the year, October 14th. Don't you remember that comedian, that black man comedian Hannibal Buress makes the joke heard about the comedian performing. And here go the thing about that whole thing, because I didn't realize that when he made that joke about Bill Cosby being a rapist and all of that, he was actually in Bill Cosby's hometown of Philadelphia. I'm surprised the Philly people didn't boo him for that. You know, because you're not usually able to come in somebody else's hometown and this is celebrity there and try to talk about that celebrity. That's usually not going to go. They're going to boo you and they're not going to appreciate it. But you know, whatever happened, we actually, because I know the news started pushing that. Didn't they start pushing that? Didn't I say yesterday? There's a lot of things that they could have pushed and told us about this case, but they didn't tell us that. But that comedy thing that he did, they definitely kept pushing it because that's how I seen it. And then I was like, rape, alligator. I had never heard anything about that. Never in my life. So whatever. So if things had came out, matter of fact, I think I had, matter of fact, that's not true, because I did hear the story some years ago about a girl saying that she was Bill Cosby's daughter and something about she was trying to extort money from him. I briefly heard about it. I didn't even remember what the conclusion was to that story. Was it his daughter? Or, you know, was it not his daughter to take a paternity test? So yeah, I had, but no, not really. Nothing to, you know, I'm like rape and all of that stuff. But that happened in October, and then it said October 16th. So not even a month later, in November 10th, after the routine, I guess it goes viral, becomes viral, and then everyone is doing their research on it. And then November 13th, still not even a month after he did that joke, women started coming out the woodworks. A woman named Bowen came out November 13th, 2014. Then Joanne came out November 16th, 2014, just 3 days later. Then a day later, November 17th, Linda came out. And then a day later, on November 18th, Janice Dickinson came out. And then on November 20th, just 2 days later, Teresa came out. And then November 21st, and then on November 21st, more women came forward, including Carla, the wife and manager of Incredible Hulk, actor Lou something, and then, the Serenese, a nurse. Look, they all just started coming out, all in 2014. And then remember, I was telling y'all yesterday about it's a lot of stuff, but I'm just gonna tell you what Bill Cosby's PR people said. Andrew Wyatt and Ebony Benson, and we seen them because we definitely seen the black man with the glasses that was walking with Bill Cosby a lot. A lot of the times when we seen him going in and out of court, we seen Cosby holding on to the black man. That man name is Andrew Wyatt. And then, like I said, it's Ebony Benson. That was the other black woman that was there, his PR people. I'm going to take that interview that I watched of theirs. That was a very good interview, and I'm happy that I actually took the time to watch it, and that it actually popped up, that they did on 105.3 in Philly, WDAS, where he says that he did feel like it was a conspiracy because Bill Cosby had planned on buying NBC, and then he brought up the son being killed 5 years later in 1997. Now, I had did some research on that a little bit more yesterday, and I was like, what? I was so confused. But I'm gonna read it to you all, and then you all can figure out, get your own conclusion from it. It says, now this article was written in 97 when the son was killed. It said, on this day in 1997, comedian and TV star Bill Cosby's 27-year-old son, Ennis Cosby, is murdered after he stops to fix a flat tire along California's Interstate 405 in Los Angeles. The 405, which runs some 70 miles from the Irving, if I'm saying that right, to San Fernando, is known as one of the planet's busiest and most congested, roadways. Construction began on Interstate, we don't even know about, at approximately 1 a.m. on January 16, 1997. Ennis Cosby, a graduate student in special education at Columbia University's Teacher College, who was on vacation in Los Angeles, was driving a Mercedes-Benz convertible on Interstate 405 when he pulled off to Skirball Center Drive to change a flat tire. A Ukrainian-born teenager, Milkhav Markhausef, okay, people, and two friends were at a nearby park and ride lot, using the phone. Mark Hassef, that's the Ukrainian, reportedly high on drugs, approached Cosby to rob him. But when Cosby took too long to hand over money, he was shot and killed. Ennis Cosby was the third of Bill Cosby's children, and he was the inspiration for the character of Theo Huxtable on the hit sitcom show, The Cosby Show. In August, so remember he was killed in January 97. Now this is August of 1998. Mark Hassef, then 19, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for Cosby's murder. During his trial, Mark Hassef reportedly showed no remorse for his crime. However, in 2001, he confessed his guilt, stopped his appeals process, and apologized to the Cosby's family. Now, they're saying that this 405 is the same road that O.J. Simpson was on when we seen him in his white blazer, whatever, his white truck or whatever. But what was I about to say about this? Yeah, this whole Bill Cosby's PR people. Now, you just heard me say that he was locked up was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And they said at first he showed no remorse. And then, however, in 2001, 3 years later, he confessed. He said he was guilty. He stopped his appeal process and he apologized to the Cosby family. Tell me how come Bill Cosby's PR people, what is his name again? Andrew Wyatt said that on the day that Bill Cosby was sentenced, that we seen that he was sentenced to them 3 to 10 years, he said on that day, he received a phone call letting him know that this Mark Hassif was up for clemency. Boom. Can you believe that? I was like, whoa, are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah. Okay. All right now. Not for appeal because he stopped the whole appeal process. He stopped that. He sentenced to life, but up for clemency. Bill Cosby's attorney said that there is definitely some scandalous stuff going on that we don't even know about. Not to mention, and don't even quote me on this, you're going to have to go and watch the video for yourself to listen to what they have to say. They are the ones that were sitting up there with Bill the whole time. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, man, when they were talking to Bill and Bill was letting them know everything that was happening and what he felt like was going on, his opinion, because he the one that was working with NBC. He know these people, and at the end of the day, I think that Bill's problem was he put too much faith in them. He put too much faith. And I think the reason why he put so much faith in them is because he started off with them, he had been with them so long. He just trusted them. They had his back. He asked by the Cosby Show, everything that he wanted to do. And, it ended up biting him in the booty. But yeah, now let me read to you this. Now, this is something that I caught on Radar Online. It says September 29, 2015. It says Bill Cosby's son's killer writes explosive jailhouse letter. His chilling confession revealed. So in 2015, while Bill Cosby is going through all of this nonsense, old boy is writing a confession letter. It says the cold-blooded killer who gunned down Bill Cosby's son has written to Radar Online. Oh, he wrote to them specifically? Oh, okay. Admitting to the shocking crime, but left unanswered the explosive questions about an outrageous alleged assassination plot. Now, because this whole thing was pretty interesting. The Mark Hassif, I'm probably not saying it right, a Ukrainian immigrant with possible mob ties. Okay, people? Mob ties. Okay, so now we get a little deeper with this thing. Shot and killed Ennis Cosby, 27, on January 16, 1997, in what investigators called a robbery attempt near an LA interstate. Radar went directly to the source to find out if there is any truth behind the outrageous claims he was actually hired to rub out Ennis Cosby direction to prevent his son from revealing. Whoa, let me reread that again. Let me reread it. I feel like I got some words confused right there. Radar went directly, let me see that. Radar went directly to the source to find out if there is any truth behind the outrageous claims he was actually hired to rub out Ennis on Cosby's direction, Bill Cosby's direction, to prevent his son from revealing the comedian's love child as alleged in a blockbuster tell-all book. And then stuff start thickening. Then it thickens. Ennis' only fault was being in the path of a wicked idiot like myself, Mark Hassif, now 36, because when he was sentenced, when he was 19, now 36, told Radar in a letter sent from the prison in California. The senseless tragedy of his untimely death and the sacred sorrow experienced by his family is something that I hope you will never have to experience. And yet it happens daily in the world, he wrote. Mark Hassif, who was serving life in prison, wrote his evasive response after receiving a letter from Radar that directly asked him if he was hired to knock off Ennis. Okay. In the explosive tell-all book titled Cosby's Love Child, author Jules Starr, the aunt of Cosby's illegitimate daughter, Autumn Jackson, described the supposed assassination plot. Okay. According to the book, Jackson said that Cosby might have had Ennis murdered because he had found out about me. Okay. 2 days after Ennis was found dead, Jackson was arrested for trying to extort $40 million from Cosby in exchange for her silence about her claims she was his out of wedlock child. Okay, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. But old girl sitting up here writing a book talking about that she believes that Bill Cosby had his son killed in 1997. Did they say when her book was written? Nope. I would like to know when that book was written. I should have looked that up. But now she's saying, but now they're saying 2 days after Ennis was found dead, the old girl who Bill Cosby was saying is not his child, that was saying was his child, was arrested for trying to extort $40 million from him in exchange for her silence about her claims that she was his child out of wedlock. Also arrested in the plot were Jose Yossi Medina, the alleged ringleader, and a Russian named Boris Saban. Okay. Meanwhile, Cosby stands accused of raping and drugging dozens of women, and the 78-year-old has declared his innocence. And okay, it says Private Eye Dan Hanks, who investigated the killing, said Mark Hassif probably didn't want to say too much in the letter because prison guards routinely read them. He also told Radar that he knew Mark Hassif prior to the murder because the thin 18-year-old worked at a garden supply store the Private Eye shopped at. I got to see him in another light while he was out there. Makes no sense to me because this guy had a job. It wasn't like he was homeless looking for someone to rob, but they trying to say that he was high on drugs and he went over there to hire him. But this man is saying that he had a job and stuff. And okay, so why was the guy on the same interstate off ramp as Ennis Cosby? Mark Hassif was captured 2 months after the murder when the National Enquirer posted a $100,000 reward, and one of his friends ratted him out. In another revealing twist, Mark Hassif actually shows sympathy for Cosby. As for Mr. Cosby, he showed me much mercy, which I didn't deserve, and I'm praying for him, for his family, and for all the women. And bam, I found that to be pretty dang on interesting. But then I ended up seeing something about those guys, though those names that I mentioned in that article that I just read, those guys that they said were in on it, that were in on the extorting the 40 million from Bill Cosby. What is their names? Jose Yossi Medina and Boris Saban. Right, I actually found those. I guess they would be like court documents or the documents with their name mentioned in there, but they mention as being, you know, they sound like Russian and stuff too, don't it? So old boy who killed Ennis Cosby was Russian or Ukrainian or something like that, okay? But then the people that was trying to extort the 40 million from Bill Cosby with the girl who alleged that she was Bill Cosby's daughter, these other guys, they were also like some Ukrainian Russian type stuff. Now, this woman is saying that Bill Cosby had his own son killed, so his son will not come out with the information about this illegitimate child. Look, I don't know what's going on. I'm just reading the stuff to you, but what I'm saying is that we've heard about it. I don't know if you're conspiracy theorists, Illuminati, and how they have certain people killed. I don't know what's going on, people. I have the slightest idea what is going on, but it's pretty dang on interesting right here. It mentions their name, the United States of America versus Autumn Jackson. That's old girl, Jose Medina, and Boris Sabas. And those names really sound, I don't know. What do you all think? But then Bill Cosby's PR people also said the other, I guess, conspiracy type thing was that the judge, that judge that I don't even have his name, whatever the judge name was, the judge was having an affair with Castor. Don't you remember Castor is the attorney who was the district attorney at first, who said that he didn't see probable cause to file criminal charges on Bill Cosby based on what Andrea Constand has said because her story didn't make any sense. It was conflicting. She didn't have proof. It wasn't making any sense. Well, the judge was supposedly having an affair with Castor's assistant district attorney, and Castor told on the judge. So that's why the judge caused Castor to lose the election and go for the Steele guy. Remember the Steele guy who was going after Bill Cosby, who ended up getting all of that money for his campaign and for his ads and everything, which big people who have done major films and media type stuff said there's no way that this man could have done that type of editing in 5 days. That literally takes weeks upon weeks to do. Yep, that's what the PR people said, that it was some other stuff going on in there. And he also mentioned something else. I don't even know, but that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So I guess people, you would have to make your own conclusion on what you think about this whole thing. And matter of fact, from what I read, I could have sworn that it said that the girl never actually got a paternity test. The Jackson girl, that she didn't want to get a paternity test, that she, something like that. So I don't even know if she actually got it. Did we ever confirm that? But what I do know is that Bill Cosby he did pay off some other women too to get them to be quiet. So we know that Bill Cosby do pay off people to get them not to say things. He does. But anyway, people, so what do you all think about this whole thing? This whole Bill Cosby thing. I still think that my thing is Bill Cosby should have left them white women alone. But first of all, he should have left the women alone, period. I mean, poor Camille, she had to sit there and deal with all of that. Now, I guess poor her, but then not so much poor her, because there's a part of me that's like, there ain't no way in whatever that she couldn't have possibly known what her husband was doing. I mean, I'm not saying that you knew about all the women, but you had to have known about some women. So good grief, he should have left the women alone, period. Just left the women alone. So he kind of got his own self caught up in that one. And I feel like he did have a bit of rich man cockiness, that he felt like, hey, I got the money. Hey, if I got to pay for a few ladies' schooling, pay for a few universities and stuff, I'll do it. I believe he was a smooth talker. I don't believe he was mean or aggressive in any type of way. I think he was a smooth talker, knew the things to say to them. I definitely think he was tricking off, just like how they say the old man be tricking off. I think he was an old man trick offer. If that's a word, I don't even know. But, but as far as raping people, especially with him being as honest as he been, all that stuff that I read to y'all yesterday about what Bill Cosby said, admitting to everything. Andrea Constand's story is just totally off, lady. You say that you met Bill Cosby. You met him in 2000. 2000, 2001. Around that time, Andrea was about 27, 28 years old. So we're talking about a grown woman here. She's not 16, 18, 22, 25. She's 27, 28, knocking on 30 years old when she meets Bill Cosby. They already, up until 2004, before she made her claims, they already having sex. She admitted that, even though at one point she said that they didn't, and then the attorney, Bill Cosby's attorney, had to say, Your Honor, can I show you this? Where she admitted that her and Bill Cosby was having a sexual relationship, that it was more than just a friendship. Lady, stop lying, that they were already having sex. And then January of 2004, this is when she claims that this incident happened, where he gave her 3 blue pills that she is saying were this Quaaludes, when Bill Cosby said, that ain't what I gave you. I gave you, I think he said 2 pills, but he said it was Benadryl. I think he said 2 or 3 pills, whatever, but he said it was Benadryl. And she talking about 3 big blue pills, but I showed y'all yesterday that damn near all the Quaaludes I seen when I was doing my research look white. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't see no blue ones, but all the ones that they were really showing were white. So that means that when you get the pills, normally you're going to get them in white. Because if it was blue, then the pictures would have been blue. But all the pictures were white. So then she said that this stuff happened to her in January of 2004, but she didn't say anything. And a lot of people would say, well, when you get raped and stuff, you don't say anything. Sometimes you just keep it quiet because you're so ashamed. Okay, well, whatever. So January, she gets raped. Bill Cosby does this to her. But then in February, not even a month later for Valentine's, she calls Bill Cosby twice. And then we find out all up in between that she done called Bill Cosby about 50 times. They're still having relationships and conversations and stuff like that. And then she ended up getting tickets for her mother and her father to go to a show that Bill Cosby was doing in Toronto, Canada. This is in, I think, March, if I'm not mistaken. So they're at a show, okay? Matter of fact, and then in March, she's with Bill Cosby and they're going to eat Chinese food restaurant. But in January, you're just saying that he assaulted you. And then I can't remember if it was in, so I think maybe around June or something, don't quote me on that, she decides to go back to Toronto, but she still is keeping in contact with Bill Cosby. And then in August of 2004, she then goes, and I guess Cosby gives her some more tickets because he's doing another show in Toronto, Canada, something like that, at a resort for her mother and father to come along. The mother and the father, they come along. The mother goes and buy him a sweater, gets a gift bag, put the sweater in there. They're excited to see Cosby, but Cosby shrugs him off. He don't want to, he probably don't feel like being bothered. He probably want to see another woman. He just didn't feel like being bothered. This all happened in August. Now, Andrea is saying, and her mother is saying that the mother looked at Andrea and said, oh my God, Andrea, what's wrong with you? All around January, about January 2005. What is wrong with my daughter? Why do you look like that? And Andrea said, because he raped me. And then she said, oh my God, you have to go tell and press charges. Now, Andrea's brother-in-law is a detective there in Toronto, Canada. So then they go to the Durham police station. She gives her statement. Then they drive to Philadelphia. A few days later, she gives another statement. Then she drives to another police station, and then she gives a third statement. And then we find out that, oh boy, I can't remember the guy's name, Castor, looked at everything and called Bill Cosby in. Bill Cosby comes in and he tells his side of the story. He didn't say that I didn't sleep with this woman. I know her. True. We done ate, we done hung out, all of that stuff, but I ain't never slept. He said yes. He didn't say I didn't give her no pills. No, she came over. We did our thing. But he said, no, I gave her pills. I just didn't give her the pills that she said I gave her. I didn't give her no Quaaludes, But yes, I gave her pills. And then he asked us, well, have you given women pills, Quaaludes, This is at this time, I think this is when old girl's attorney is. Have you given a woman Quaaludes before for sexual purposes? He said, yes. Young woman, yes, I have. Yes. They knew about it, but yes, I would for sexual purposes. Did you know it was illegal? Yes, I knew it was illegal. Yes, I already knew. Did you give it for purposes of sex? Yes. Did you take them? No, I don't take them. Why you don't take them? Because it make me sleepy. Well, how you know it make you sleepy if you ain't never took it? Because I had some problems before I took them and it make me sleepy. So I don't like to take them because I want to be woke. For the same reason you don't drink liquor, bingo. Bill Cosby said, ding, bingo. He said he wanted to be up and alert doing the whole thing. He was not trying to be. But anyway, January, so this broad does all of this. Castor, Bill Cosby come in and say what he say. Castor say, well, basically, Andrea, based on the evidence that you done presented to me, I done talked to Bill, I don't see enough to do a criminal thing on him. Now, what you can do is you can do a civil. If you choose to do a civil, you can do a civil. So of course she went in for the doo-wop. She went in for the doo-wop, did the civil, and then that's when her attorney came in and started questioning Bill Cosby. And that's where we got the statement about Bill Cosby admitting to giving young women quaaludes for the purpose of sex. Yes, he didn't say he did that with Andrea, but yes, he did say that for the purpose of sex. And you know, she won her thing. Bill Cosby paid her $3.4 million in 2006. Okay. $3.4 million in 2006, and had his lawyers seal the case. Case is sealed. We don't know nothing else about nothing else. Any other paying off or whatever he doing with his chicks. We don't know nothing about that until 2014 when this Hannibal Buress came out and said what he said. And then you seen what I just said about that timeline. Starting November 2014, them women was coming out every day out of the woodworks. And like I said, the crazy thing about that is what Bill Cosby's PR people said when he said that NBC had picked up all the ladies, all of Bill Cosby's accusers, all them women, picked them up, flew them out, gave them money, picked them up in black cars. I was like, whoa, his own people played him. His own people totally played him, or he played himself, believing that those were his people. You got to remember your enemy. The Most High said, as sure as, what did he say? As sure as brass will turn. You better keep your eye. Keep your eye. They seriously turned on. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. And I surely believe that they came back to get some more money. I think that they ran out. Andrea had to spend that money with her greedy racist mama. What y'all talking about? She got a mama, her whole family, she over there helping out. Ain't no telling what they was doing. I'm pretty dang on sure that Andrea done ran up out of some money and they figured that they can get a bigger gain. I mean, like, what's 3.4 million? Bill Cosby worth all this money. Let's go in for bigger dollars. Go in for bigger dollars. That's why I be saying that. I be seeing the white women, when they sleep and mess around with you, in the back of their mind, they got it stored. Because at any time they ready to put that information out, they putting the information out and they doing a civil suit. They coming for some money. You gonna give up some money. I'm noticing that these black women that are sad chicks or whatever, and they coming to tell on the black men that they sleeping with, they just coming out talking. Y'all ain't getting nothing. They ain't trying to do a civil suit. They just come out telling the tea, making themselves look bad. I guess at least the white women, they trying to get the money. Bill got gotten. He got gotten. I don't, it's wrong. They got him. They got him, people. They got him. He was trying to do great things with NBC, and they didn't want him to do that with NBC. Can you imagine all the wonderful, good, wholesome black shows that we would have on now with non-violence and showing family and love and black marriage and the children and education, and nothing like how we see now. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So, yeah. That Andrea Constand chick, she's something else. This media played out the whole thing. So that's why when TMZ, NBC, NSNBC, and all the NBCs and all the other media sites, they sit up there and they put the stuff about the Jell-O pudding and Bill Cosby's conditions, and y'all doing, they milking this thing for money. They definitely milking it for money, and they definitely done made a whole joke out of this whole thing with this 81-year-old man sitting in jail on some stuff that they already knew that he was doing. They already knew he was messing with these women, No, I'm not having nothing to do with that. I'm not posting that on Geneva's Closet because I can see that from a mile away. I can see exactly what that is, and I'm not having any parts of that, especially in NBC. I think I may always look at them sideways now, considering how he just played this man. Bonnie said, I wouldn't go that far, Geneva. He has some pathetic opinions on black people who is considered less class. You know what? You know what, Bonnie? Oh, thank you, Miss M. Miss M to put some money in the girl. I gotta give some claps for that, because people is, not, People work hard for their money. They ain't got time to be putting money. So I appreciate it, love. I really, really do. But Bonnie, let me say something about that. I read some of the things that Bill Cosby was saying, about black people and whatever the case may be. Um, I think that I don't know. I think that if you look at it from the perspective now, looking at his opinions, you might be like, now who are you to talk? Considering what you done sat there and did in the background, didn't nobody even know you was doing the things that you was doing and woody woody woo. But was the things he's saying, was it totally off? Or was it just a little harsh in the way that he was saying it? Because sometimes people can be telling you the truth, but it's the way that they say it is the problem. Maybe if he said it nicer, in a nicer tone, wasn't doing so much moving around when he said it, maybe black people would have, and maybe if he would have used some other different words, maybe they would have understood a little bit better. If Bill Cosby was saying some things about men walking around with their pants sagging and everything else, you have to understand that he's talking from almost like an elder standpoint. And from the times that he was born, those are not the things that he was used to seeing. And I mean, because my mother, my grandmother, my grandparents did it all the time. Like you hear older people all the time saying, like, these kids can't talk these days. Like Bill Cosby was saying some things like that, like kids couldn't talk these days. And now me, I'm 40 years old, and I can tell you these black kids can't spell these days. I mean, it's so much dang on text, and I think that they really believe that LOL is a word. They really believe that laughing out loud is a word, and WYD, what you doing? I mean, I feel like they need to spell the words out, because when they do take the time, and I see them on Facebook and things like that, and they actually writing sentences, they can't spell. But Bill Cosby was already saying it back then, and I think that if people was paying attention, then they probably would have put a little bit more emphasis, paid a little bit more attention to their children. Because I mean, wasn't this a few years ago? Our children, we were starting having children. Our children, now our children get a little bit old. We got to talk to them and let them know. Okay, now I know you abbreviating everything with this texting, but just make sure you know how to spell for real, for real. I mean, like, that's all fine and dandy to shorten things up because you want to hurry up and get it out. But can you spell for real, for real? So, so I don't really know, you know, pants slouching, hanging all off your booty. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm 40 years old. I don't want to see men's booties. I really don't. And I'm surprised that men are okay with their pants hanging up under their booty cheeks, letting you see your drawers and the shape of your booty. Because you okay with your male friends seeing the shape of your booty and looking at your drawers and stuff like that? Isn't that kind of gay? And you call yourself straight? I mean, and I say that right now. So I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know every single thing he said. So maybe it was probably more of the delivery that people didn't necessarily like. Maybe they, like I said, maybe he could have used some nicer words. But I don't really know if it was totally off. For real, for real. You know what I mean? Bill was just talking from a very concerned elder. Exactly. We see older people do all. They talk about our music. Come on now, look at your music. And now I find myself doing it with my kids. My mother would look at y'all music videos. Look at them girls with the thing all in the booty and stuff. My mother used to say when I was a little girl, she used to be like, by the time y'all become grown and have your own kids, women gonna be walking around with thongs on and just pasties on their nipples. That's what my mother used to say when I was I was about 10 years old. I'm 40 years old. Women are walking around with thongs on and showing the nipples, just showing the nipples. I mean, they're wearing outfits where you just see the nipples. Forget a pasty on the nipple. That was a little bit back. So yes, I guess it did start when I started having my kids, right? Because at this point, they're just showing the nipples. So yeah, I kind of agree with him then. Unless he says something, he was like, all black people are ignorant and they just stupid and dumb and they are never going to progress as a people. Unless he said that, then he probably wasn't too far off from what he was saying. You know what I mean, people? You know what I mean? 2-Bit says saggy pants is the best thing to happen to America. I guess if you want to see some booties, If you want to see some men booties and the print of their booties, and you know, and then they can't walk without pulling their pants up, then okay. And I never understood that. I mean, okay, let me be honest. When I was younger, for some reason, there was a tad bit of sexiness to that. There could have been a tad bit for whatever. I don't even know. I don't even know. But now, once I think about it, can we walk and hold hands? Or are you going to have to use one hand to keep pulling your pants up? Like, what can we do as a couple where you are able to utilize both hands and not just hold your pants up? That's all I want to know. Now, if we can still be a couple and go live our lives, and I can hold your hand, both hands, we can just hold two hands, okay? And we can do this. And you ain't got to keep pulling up your pants. And maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's just not so much of a bad thing. But other than that, I don't know. I ain't even got time. Mr. Andrew said, if I can see fingers through the blouse, I'm not bad. That sounds like my mom. She was like, I'm not today. Not today. Bonnie said, I'm just thinking there are fights that we should be fighting and some not so much. That's the reason black male incarceration got lit, because black folks helped it along. That's true. We do need to there are more important things. That is true. But I think Bill Cosby was probably talking about some of the more important things, education. I mean, because you can see that even in his tricking offness, even in the midst of his tricking off, he was worried about people's educations. He was worried. I mean, because he was going to pay for the education just as long. Don't tell nobody. And if you don't say nothing, I'll pay for your education. That's good old Bill. Always down for the education. You said, what about the Cardi images? I don't even know what to say about the Cardi images. Cardi will be Cardi. The people today will be the people today. I don't even do music videos still come on. I don't know anything about that. I don't, I had stopped watching 106 and Park way before 106 and Park had went off. Life has changed. Things has changed. I see a music video today. I'm like, what? I didn't even know it still came on. I had no idea. What channel was this? Are they still coming on BET? Like, like what channel? So but yeah, people, that's what I came on. I'm so happy. Yay. I'm done with the whole Bill Cosby thing. I got that information out, gave it to you people. I sat there and did all the reading and stuff. So y'all didn't even have to, so I done gave it to done gave y'all all the information so you can figure out what you want to figure out about it. And then when people try to say something about this Bill Cosby thing, be like, Bill Cosby said that he raped her. No, he didn't. Bill Cosby said that he gave that girl some. No, he did not. You better have your facts straight if you're going to be talking about some stuff. Know what you're talking about. We do research over here. Ain't nothing like a little research for your life. Ain't nothing like a little research for your life. Yeah, I hope that Bill Cosby be okay. Bill Cosby, people said when it was asked how he's doing, they said the Bill Cosby, they said that can't nobody bring him down. That's what I heard, that, that he's a very strong man in the mind, and that his whole thing was just make sure that you go out, get the word out, let people know what was really going on. They're going to try to go and do the appeal. Hopefully they only give him 3 years so he can get out of there. But, I know somewhere deep down inside, because here go the thing, people. We can sit up here and say whatever, like I can come on here and talk all the whatever that I want to talk. I could have done something and I can come on here and make all the excuses in the world. And I know that while I'm making my excuses, a lot of y'all will probably take up for me and be like, yeah, Geneva, that was wrong. Oh, wow, you had to deal with that. That's a shame that you even had to deal with that. And whoop, 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 whoop. I could do that all day long. But at the end of the day, when I'm by myself and I'm sitting there and no one's around and I'm there in my own thoughts, I can only be honest with myself. I can only then admit that I had some parts of that. And the reason why I'm probably going through the things that I'm going through is most likely because of some things that I done did. It just may very well be karma. It just may very well be. Now, that's a hard pillow to swallow at times, to check yourself, especially like I said, when you have people that's sitting up there like, oh my God, I can't believe that you don't deserve to be going through this. And and there's even a bit of me that's saying that about Bill Cosby, that he 81 years old and he don't have to, he don't deserve to be going through this. But I guess as long as you living and you got breath in your body, the Most High don't put a time limit on your karma. We see right now, people, that it can come at any time. By him sitting up there making vows to be with his wife and say that I'm going to be with you forever. You know what I mean? He was supposed to keep them vows. But then money and fame came into play, and he completely lost himself. He lost himself, and he started going out there doing any old thing and thinking that that money and the people that he was associating with was going to always be there. And it was always going to work out in his favor. But it didn't. It absolutely did not. Because like I said, the Most High did not put a time limit on karma. And at the old age of 81 years old, and this man is now blind. And based on my research, I think it said in 2016 is when he became 100% blind. 81 years old, blind, but he now sitting in jail for some stuff that he did years ago. You see what I mean? Ain't no time limit on karma. Years ago, and that came back for him. Why? Because he still got life in his body. So what we need to do while we're still young and on our tender ages is be very conscious of the stuff that we're doing, because it just may catch up with us. So I believe that Bill Cosby knows that. I believe that while he's sitting there in that cell, and true enough, he got his PR people like, oh my God, we're gonna fight. This is a shame. And his lawyers and his wife and his children, like, oh my God, and his fans, and it's for whoever tell, oh my God, it's a shame. He knows. He knows what happened, especially if you're a spiritual person, basically what just happened. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. Derek said that he don't think he's gonna make it out alive. I hope he do, because then that'll be really sad. Like right now, my DVR is set for every time the Cosby Show comes on, it records, right? So I'm sitting there earlier and I'm looking on the DVR because actually I was about to go to Netflix, but then for whatever reason I'm looking on the DVR and I see that the DVR has recorded like 20 shows of the Cosby Show, and there was a bit of me that felt a certain way when I seen that. I was like, oh man, like that's a dang on shame. So what I did was I went to it, not to click on it, but just to take the little mouse thing through it, just to see Bill Cosby in his younger days. And then I had a thought in my mind like, wow, I bet he never thought then when he was doing the Cosby Show, doing them shows, living his life, that at 81 years old, he would be in the situation that he is now. So, that's pretty sad. So I would hope that he would make it out of there. I know that got to be devastating for Camille. I mean, your son got killed in 97. Your daughter just died either this year or last year because she's sick and she couldn't get a kidney. Or matter of fact, I think they said she was set to get a kidney this year, but she never did make it. So I think she passed away last year. And and now your husband's sitting in jail for possibly 3 to 10 years, max 10 years. And then what, 91? Really, people, 91? So yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, Israel, his PR people also mentioned something about them trying to tear down his legacy because that was Bill Cosby's only son. So his only son got taken away from him. So he has really no one to pass his legacy down to. I guess that male heir to give it to carry on that Cosby name. And when he said that, I was like, oh wow, never even thought about that. Never even thought. But then again, I don't, I guess I don't know if I really paid attention to the fact that he only had one son. But yeah, that could possibly, yeah. You know what? Y'all subscribers are something else. Y'all be having serious conversations. This is like a family. Everyone just comes in the house. Just, I'm talking, they talking, just family stuff. It's like all the family is in the house, like we having a get together. And I may be talking about one thing. Y'all done sparked the whole nother family. It's just family. All we need is food. I don't know why y'all didn't bring no food. Do y'all got food? Is people eating? Because I don't have anything. So I should have brought food so then we can just sit here and talk and eat. You know what I mean? Talk and eat. That's what we do. Just talk and eat. What is y'all talking about? Oh, Miss M said Andy's trying to hide his money from Camille. I heard somebody say, I forgot who I heard say this, but I heard somebody say that they hope that that Camille divorces Bill Cosby so then she can take his money. So then when the ladies do the civil suit, because Bill Cosby got several civil suits going against him from these ladies. You thought they was done? Girl, no. Guys, people, no. That she divorced him so that she can take all his money. So then when they try to come for him for the civil suit, then they won't have anything to take. Now I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but that's what I heard. Mm-hmm. And then let me say something else because I forgot who it was, TMZ, Radar Line. One of them said something about, and I think it was the day Bill Cosby was sentenced or the day after that, Camille Cosby was upset at the cast from the Cosby Show because they had not came out and said anything. But let me say something about that. Keisha Knight Pulliam came to Bill Cosby's very first court case. And I don't remember if it was this particular one or the one that happened in June when it was the mistrial, but she came to the very first court case, okay? Now, we know that Felicia Rashad had said some things when all these women started coming out saying whatever they were saying. When this Me Too thing started and they started coming out saying whatever they were saying. She basically said that that's not the guy that she remembered. That's not the guy that she knows. In so many words, she was having an issue with the women. Then the women, because how stuff is. She says something, they start coming for her because we know how stuff is. That's why I love just being able to be out here and say whatever I want to say and I don't have to be politically correct. Because that's one thing I don't like. For you to say something, speak your truth, speak how you feel. And then because of this whole media thing, and then if you say that, then no one is going to want to hire you for the TV show. They're not going to put you in any movies. They're going to drop all your endorsements. Then you got to go and take back what you said. Or then go and apologize. Oh, I hate it when people do that. When celebrities say what they say how they feel, and then there go all of that extraness in the background, all up in their ear. Then the next thing you know, they're coming out with, yeah, I just want to apologize for what I had said because I don't mean to discriminate or talk about any certain one group of people. And what I realized is that my words I had not used. I'm like, oh my God. So basically, what do we want these people to say? They can't say nothing. This is at a time you can't say nothing. And then say something about some white people. You can't say nothing about no white people. These white women talking about that they was molested by, raped by a black man. And you think that you're going to be able to come out and speak how you feel about that and be like, Bill did what, bitch? Bill isn't. I know Bill from back. Bill don't rape nobody. Bill is honest. Bill got the ladies. But Bill is not raping nobody. These white women coming out here trying to get paid. They can't say that. Malcolm Jamal Warner can't say that. Raven Simone can't say that. Felicia Rashad can't say that. Keisha Knight Pulliam can't say that. Tempest Bledsoe can't say that. Can't none of them come out and say that. And about the only one that had something negative to say about him, because even Raven Simone was like, I don't know. I never had he ain't never did nothing to me. Was Lisa Bonet. But we already know that Lisa Bonet and Bill had some issues back in the day because Lisa Bonet was, she's a free spirit doing her thing. She was with Lenny Kravitz. She was posing nude and living her life. And Bill was trying to have a wholesome TV show. Like, girl, can you please? I'm trying to have a wholesome TV show. And I want all the cast members to go home and live a wholesome life. Or at least what everyone can see. So then the show can just look very wholesomeness. And you sitting up there messing it up, doing all of this extra stuff. That's why she kept bopping back and forth from Bill Cosby to a different world, trying to get her, on track and stuff. So we already know that there was some issues and things there. Bill probably wanted to just let her go. But I don't think Bill wanted his show. Don't you know, like how we watch shows and it's a family, just like how they did Family Matters, and then it was the son and the two daughters. Then the next thing you know, it's only Laura and her brother. You're like, what the hell is the other sister? Is she gone? I don't think Bill wanted that. I think he started off with those kids at the beginning. Those are the children that he wanted at the end. He didn't want for all the kids to be there. Then we all sitting up there like, where's Denise at? All of a sudden they done wrote some crazy stuff in. Denise moved. I mean, because remember they had her when she moved to Africa. Remember when she moved to Africa and then married they wrote that whole thing because she was gone for a certain period of time doing whatever she was doing. So I wasn't too shocked and surprised when I seen that she had something to say about that. I'm not surprised because he had a certain aura that I can feel the aura in him. So, so I wasn't too shocked. But for the most part, everyone else is like, that's not the person that I know. So, but I hate it when people do that. When they say something and then take it back. Say what you say, mean what you mean. If you don't, then just don't talk. Then don't talk then. If you're going to be tiptoeing, then just be quiet. Don't say nothing. Hey, everybody that's up here. Look at all the other people up in here talking. Y'all know y'all be talking. Thank you. Someone said, I love your show. I appreciate it. Queen Jet Black. Look at Queen Jet Black just in here living her very royal purple life. Very royal and purple. Geneva, do you remember the Bill Cosby show? He had two shows, Cosby Show and the Bill Cosby Show back in the 70s. Plus, I Spy Leading Black Man. Yep, I said that too, Queen Black. And right, are you talking about the Cosby Show that he did with him and Felicia, that they were like living in the basement or something like that? Yeah, I watched that a few times. Not that many times because I was so used to the Cosby Show and them living in his house and having that certain life. So then to see a whole different concept of Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad, it was just different for me. But yes, I do remember that. I sure do. Yeah, I'm supposed to be getting off. Yeah, let me put yes, why I'm being text. Let me text back. Wait. I can't text like that. But yep, that's true. I don't even know the last thing I said. I always do that. I always come back with that, especially if I don't know what I just said. Someone says, she said, Roberta says, Steve Harvey is not a saint, married 3 times, not a person who should be giving marriage advice. Oh, Steve. Who y'all talking about, Steve? Steve should definitely not be giving anyone marriage advice. But what Steve did was very good for the pockets. It was very good for the money. Steve came after the women with that whole act like a man, think like a man, or think like a lady man, or whatever. That was for the women. That had nothing to do with the men. Because I remember when that book or whatever first came out, I think the book came out before the movie. Yeah, when the book first came out, I remember people calling in to his radio station being like, man, why you giving up to telling how it really go? That's, those the secrets. You ain't supposed to be telling the secrets on how we really think. So men wasn't buying that book. Men was kind of a little, like, what? Like, why you telling how we really do? Like that's between us. Like that's man code. You ain't supposed to be giving the ladies man code. So that was for the women. Women being like, what? Are you going to tell us how we really can do our relationships? So you mean to tell me that if I read this book and do exactly what you said, then all of a sudden I'm going to be able to tame my man? I'm going to be able to get me a man? That was for the women. That was all for us ladies. And a lot of us fell for it. We went and got the book, trying to read the book, trying to get ideas to go get us a man and how that was going to work. Because if I do that, then and the whole time this nigga can't even do right in his relationship. The whole time he's sitting up there cheating on Mary. Cheating on Mary with Lisa. What's the girl name? Terry. Y'all know about Terry. I said, y'all better go back and watch some videos from back in the day when I first met Essie and I first started doing them Steve Harvey videos. If you ain't, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Y'all better recognize. You better go back and watch them videos where he was messing with that Terry woman, that woman that sued him. And I think Steve Harvey had to pay her $120,000 so she wouldn't come out with that book talking about their relationship and how she got pregnant. Boom. Yes, these celebrities be getting it in the background. He shouldn't be talking to nobody about nothing about no relationships. Especially with all of these women currently suing you. Currently, all ladies, practically all women. All women. He trying to, make money off the black woman. Really, he is trying to make money off the black woman, but treating none but black women. First wife, Marcia played. Mary played. Pretty sure he cheating on Margie. Margie just got more hood game with the whole thing. We don't know. She probably cheating on him too, knowing Margie. I don't even know. I'm just saying. And then Terry, Essie. Then even had the audacity, the pure to sit up here and send me little bitty old Geneva's Closet. And at this time that he was doing that, what did I have? Like 3,000-4,000 subscribers. Maybe I had that. I'm not even totally sure. And gonna have the nerve to have his attorneys send me almost like a gag order notice thing because of some information that I researched and found on found on YouTube, Googled it, found it on social media, and then took it and read through it, figured out what was going on. Remember what I had heard Essie said, put a video together and then put it out there. He didn't like that. He did not like that. Then I took the story and sold it to the National Enquirer. Then the National Enquirer put the article out. Steve Harvey was pissed because then they mentioned in those documents that I had found and gave them. So yeah, but look, boo, how you gonna get mad at a sister for doing some research? How you gonna get mad at me? You have to get mad at the people who left that on the internet. I found it on the internet. I was just minding my own business life, being nosy, like because I am a tad bit nosy, doing research, and then bam, found it with all of his information in there, and money he was supposed to give Mary, bank accounts, life insurance policies, cars, homes, and everything was all up in there. And then it kind of made sense then what Essie Berry was saying about how he was treating Mary and wasn't giving Mary the things that she was supposed to get. And how did that all make sense? Because the lawyers who were in those documents making notations, they were saying it. Steve held in contempt of court. So all I did was show what they had already marked. They were already highlighting things. So I don't know if Steve Harvey sent them that, had his attorney send them that notice, but he sent it to Geneva and tried to do what? Scare Geneva to take the videos down, to stop speaking his name. No. First of all, I don't scare easily. I just don't. I'm sorry. You're going to have to catch me on another day. But I just don't scare easily, first of all. Secondly, I would have to hear that you did the same thing to TMZ because they talk about you. National Enquirer just did another article talking about you, about 2 Thursdays ago? I don't know if you done sent them one, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't with all the attorneys and stuff. Of course, you will go after people that you think that don't have the money for all these attorneys and court costs and stuff like that. So no, should no man ever feel sorry for Steve Harvey. And one thing I don't like is when people watch my Steve Harvey videos and make their little comments about black women always trying to go after a black man to take a black man down. Well, look, it may happen. I'm not saying that it don't happen, but that's not the case over here. You're going to have to do a little fact checking, do a little research and going back and watching some videos before you make that comment over here, because I have reason to talk about the things that I'm talking about. Okay, people. But yeah, that's basically what happened with that one and stuff. But I'm about to get ready to go. So, people. Wait, who said that? Education Invention said, Geneva, I'm not trying to steal your show. What you say after the drop? Wait, then after drop straight jewels throughout the movie. Now I gotta see, did you say something before that? I'm a great painting artist, so I would sketch out most of the Egyptian. Okay, so I'm an Egyptian art. But yeah, I'm about to go. That's what I said before I end up keep going. Tina says, so is he messing with Kris Jenner? Now, let me tell you something about that, Tina. Now, I'm just going to give you my opinion, girl. Just going to give you my opinion on that. That's what they said. Now, they said that Steve Harvey was possibly messing with Kris Jenner and that they may even be having this interaction just because Kris Jenner sees how Bill Cosby is good with the shows. He is. Bill Cosby is good with shows. He's a good host. For some reason, he keep getting jobs as hosting shows. Okay. And we know that Kris Jenner had a show. I don't know how her show did, but it's off. So it couldn't have did too good, and she wants to get another one. So they're saying that Kris Jenner was trying to talk to Steve Harvey about that, and in the midst of that, Steve Harvey started liking her, and some words were exchanged. Okay. Now, they said that Marjorie found out about this and said, oh, hell no. If you even think about it, I'm going to divorce you and snatch every penny you got. Now, right after that happened, I think the National Enquirer, Radar Online, I can't remember which one. They the one came out with the story about that Margie was like, I'm going to divorce you. That sources had said. Somebody in their camp was saying that these were the things that were going on. Okay. So then all of a sudden, you see Steve Harvey and Marjorie, they're on a cruise and they're taking these cruises and doing all of this stuff. Now, the news is reporting that the reason why that is happening is because Steve Harvey is trying to make up with his wife, like, oh my God, no, this is not what I'm doing. Now, so then I go, now I'm not saying this came from me, but I'm just saying, when I find out about this whole thing, I go and I do a video on it. I'm like, oh yeah, Steve Harvey, and he could be messing with Kris Jenner. And Marjorie is upset. She gonna say she could possibly divorce him. I don't see. I mean, it could possibly be true because we know that one, Steve Harvey cheats. So okay, so we know that that could be true on his side. Two, we know Kris Jenner like black men. Okay, now so we know that can be true, and we know that she's. I mean, like you know, you use your daughter porn tapes to make money. So yes, you would flirt with Steve and do whatever you had to do to see if he can get you a show. Look, hey. I believe it. So I make this video and I do this, and then whatever the case may be, and I don't know, something happened where then all of a sudden Marjorie posts a picture. No, matter of fact, she came out with her statement. That's what she did. Basically, they came out with their statement saying that it wasn't true, that Kris and that they're all friends. Okay, first of all, and Marjorie and Kris, they're best friends and they've been friends for a long time. So I'm like, I ain't never heard nothing about that. So then I go look on her Instagram page and I see that she done posted a picture of her and Kris Jenner on a yacht or something. And I'm like, she did that because of that article. Cause girl, y'all ain't, you only doing that to try to make it seem like that it was no beef, that y'all are all friends. And the reason why I know that, because you said best friend, right? Best friend. I went through her whole Instagram page. I didn't see not a one picture with her and Kris Jenner. Not a one. Not a eating a dinner. Not just sitting up there taking a picture. Because y'all went somewhere together. You're riding in the car together. Nothing. Not a one. She went to Paris with your friends. Nothing. Nothing. Not a one. Except for that one, when all of a sudden they're reporting that there's some drama going on in y'all marriage and Steve might be messing with you. Like, he ain't messing with her. See, we're best friends. Say cheese. Let me post this on social media. Tell them that we're best friends and post. That'll stop them blogs from talking. Girl, please, don't nobody believe you. Don't nobody believe you. We know y'all be lying in the background. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't believe that. So that's the tea with that one, girl. That's the tea with that one. We sitting up that line like we gonna go for that. Ain't nobody going like we stupid. Bonnie say, but wasn't she the sad piece? Who? Kris? Who? Oh, Marjorie? She was, but she claimed she played her game. Y'all know Marjorie dated two drug dealers. Can't sell drugs and not have hustle mentality in your bones. What you talking about? Drug dealers have a natural hustle mentality. Even when they stop selling drugs, They are still a hustler in the inside. Whether they hustling at work or they trying to start their own business hustle, where they selling some t-shirts or shoes, they having a conversation with you, and they trying to get you to come down on the price. They are still natural hustlers in some type of way. She hustled her way into Steve Harvey's heart. She hustled her way. And then I'm pretty sure the light skinness and the color eyes was just all the more better for Steve. He just melted like butter. What is y'all talking about? He melted. She wasn't a sad piece for too long. Next thing you know, Mary was practically the side piece. What you talking about? Okay. Did y'all hear what Essie said? Y'all must have not been watching them videos that Essie been making. Y'all think that she ranting. She ain't ranting. Go back a little bit to last year when she was actually talking to Mary. And she was doing a little bit more talking about that Steve Harvey thing and Mary's situation. Y'all better go back and watch some videos. The things that she was saying that Marjorie was doing before Mary and Steve even got their divorce, the paperwork that Marjorie was signing as Marjorie Harvey before her and Steve Harvey even got married, before Steve even divorced Mary. Y'all better go over there, watch some videos. Stop playing right now. Ain't nobody got time for all of that. Didn't I say I was leaving like 10 minutes ago? Y'all get me started. Y'all literally get me started every time. Ty said, Jay-Z, I got a hustle spirit. Girl, they is in the bones. It is in the, she done dated 2 drug dealers. What y'all want from the woman? What y'all want from Marjorie? She done dated 2 drug dealers. She a drug dealer. Her kids about drug dealers. What y'all want from this woman? She done sat up here and got with she done snatched this man from his wife. She done married the money. And she got Steve Harvey to adopt her children. He talking about those his kids. What y'all playing? He adopted them. Their names is now, the old girl name is Lori Harvey. I wonder how the fathers feel about that. And then, whoa, wait a minute, I forgot about this. Then she's so good at her hustle. So good at it. You know, she get with Steve, and then because you with Steve, you meet other celebrities. You know, she get into the celebrities, right? So then, you know Obama, because remember, Steve interviewed Obama. Okay, right? Remember all this. Now, remember that one of her baby daddies got out of jail early. He not in jail no more. He got out. He had that drug charge, but he got out because Bill Cosby, Obama let out so many drug dealers, did almost like a clemency thing, and let out so many drug dealers. And come to find out, it was some ties. Some people knew some people who knew some people that end up getting her baby daddy out of jail. What y'all talking about? What y'all want this woman to do? She a hustler. It's in her bones. She knew how to use that to get a baby daddy out of jail. I bet baby daddy was very appreciative. Extremely appreciative, even though his kid's last name is Harvey because Steve adopted, you know. But she probably sending him money, sending him a little cash on the side, making sure her baby daddy all right since he got out of jail, because she don't want him to come and expose her and tell what was really going on in that relationship. Because that would be a good interview. Wouldn't that be a good interview? I would really love to know. I would really want to hear what he got to say. Have y'all ever read the documents of when her baby daddy went to jail? When her children's, whichever one of her kids' father, because I hate saying baby daddy, but when her child's father went to jail, them court documents that mentions her name in so roundabout way and tell what exactly happened, what type of drugs was found in the home. You know them papers are on the internet, right? You know you can find them court documents and read it for yourself. If you really want to know, it's going to tell how many kids she had. She was pregnant at the time. Don't play games, people. Y'all better go in there and find out what's really going on. Is y'all nosy like I'm nosy? I'm nosy. I am extremely nosy. Extremely nosy. But yeah, I looked at them already. I mean, if y'all want, I can pull them out. You know, I can find them and post them for you so you can read it for yourself. It just gives you a little bit more insight on these people. Because when you look at Marjorie's Instagram page, What do you see? She's in her couture. She's living her Paris life. She's on a yacht. The wind is blowing in her hair. But we have to remember where she came from because that's her. That's her. Old girl from Memphis, hood girl from Memphis, dating the drug dealers, a hustler like that from the 99 and the 2000. That's Marjorie. All that couture stuff, that's just the money speaking. It ain't nothing but little dollars. Little dollars in the pocket make the changes. It will change a person. You know what I mean? But whatever for the 99 and the 2000. Y'all better recognize. Thank you so much, Daryl. I really appreciate it. Damn, I mean, I guess I gotta unlock the door, open up the garage. Right. You did. Well, I thought I did. Today Friday. I don't know what. Wait, today Thursday or Friday? Today Thursday. I always get my days wrong. Today Thursday, people. It is Thursday. Girl, Ty, you know it's true. The 99 and the 2000. That was one of my favorite songs. And then dancing and then okay, what does it say? Girl, yeah, Bonnie, look, I don't normally say that. I don't usually say no nine. I mean, baby daddy. I said the 99. I don't usually say the baby daddy, because that's your baby daddy. No, that's not me. I say your child's father. Then I turn politically correct. Your child's father, the child's dad. Is that which one are you talking? Which one are you talking about? The father, the dad. Which one you wanted? But anyway, I'm about to go because here I go again. I said I was getting off at least 10 times, at least a minimum of 10 times. Y'all ain't said nothing. Y'all still letting me talk. I don't even know how long I've been talking. But anyway, people, I'll be back. I will be back because we got to talk about this whole Oprah and what's her name thing, Monique thing. We got to talk, and Tyler Perry. Find out a little bit more about their relationship, about that business relationship. What's really going on with them two? What is really going on with them two? I don't know, but I'm starving. I really am. But anyway, people, you have a fabulous evening. I hope you sleep well. I really, really do. And most likely, I don't know, you just may see me tomorrow, or if not, then Saturday, or if not, then whatever. You know, y'all there. Just, just be paying attention. Just hit the bell or something. So then if I come on, you get a notification. Something. Y'all know how I go, people. But I'll talk to you later, everyone. You have a fabulous evening. Bye.